In the quiet town of Bentonville, Arkansas, a small store opened its doors in 1962 and unknowingly set the stage for one of the most powerful dynasties in history. From a simple idea of selling more for less, the Walton family built Walmart into a global empire worth over $432 billion. But behind the familiar blue logo lies a story few truly know. A web of hidden investments, global power plays, fierce controversies, and a family that has mastered the art of wealth preservation for generations. This is the untold journey of America's richest family, from humble storefront to global royalty, and how they plan to keep the crown forever. Bentonville, Arkansas. A quiet American town where nothing much seemed destined to make headlines. But in the summer of 1962, something small happened that would quietly change the way the entire world shops. A man named Sam Walton, wearing a simple shirt, a big smile, and an even bigger dream, opened the doors to his first Walmart. No one in that little town could have guessed that those glass doors would be the gateway to a $432 billion empire. Sam wasn't born into wealth. In fact, he grew up during the Great Depression, when every penny mattered. But he had an unusual obsession, figuring out how to sell more for less and still make money. While other store owners were marking up prices to fatten profits, Sam was thinking in reverse. He believed that if you kept prices low and treated customers like royalty, they'd keep coming back, and they'd bring their friends. This wasn't just a business idea. It was a quiet rebellion against the way retail worked. Most companies then saw customers as transactions. Sam saw them as the reason for existence. He drove old pickup trucks instead of flashy cars, and he walked the aisles himself, talking to shoppers, asking what they wanted, listening more than he spoke. From the outside, it looked like just another general store. Inside, it was a laboratory for a revolution. The everyday low prices strategy wasn't just catchy. It was a weapon. Word spread. People drove miles just to see how this little shop was doing what bigger ones couldn't. No billboards, no million-dollar ads, just a man, a vision, and an idea that retail could be something different. And with that, the foundation was laid. Not just for a store, but for a dynasty. The Walton family didn't know it yet, but this was the birth of a fortune so massive it would one day rival the GDP of entire countries. And this was only the beginning. 1962 wasn't just the year Sam Walton opened a store. It was the year he broke the rules of retail forever. The first Walmart wasn't in a glamorous city or a booming economic hub. It stood on a quiet corner in Rogers, Arkansas, surrounded by farmland and small-town charm. But that was the genius of it. Sam wasn't chasing the rich city shoppers. He was targeting the overlooked, the rural families who drove long distances to buy necessities. And when they walked into Walmart, something felt different. The aisles were wide, the shelves were full, and the prices? Unbelievably low. It wasn't a gimmick. Sam had figured out the secret. Buy in bulk, keep costs down, pass the savings to the customer. The formula was so simple, yet no one else dared to make it their entire business model. Competitors laughed at first. Low prices every day? You'll never make a profit, they said. But while they laughed, Walmart was quietly taking their customers. Every grand opening pulled in crowds like a local fair. Balloons, free samples, smiling greeters at the door. It wasn't just shopping, it was an event. Sam's philosophy was spreading like wildfire. He didn't build stores where the people were. He built them where people needed them. Soon, Walmart was popping up in towns across the Midwest and the South, and families began to rely on it like they relied on electricity or running water. It was more than a store. It was becoming a lifeline. Prices so low that a struggling family could stretch their budget just a little further. Groceries, clothes, toys, tools, all under one roof. And as the numbers climbed, Sam Walton started to see something no one else did. Walmart wasn't just a store, it was a movement that would soon steamroll its way into becoming the largest retailer on earth. Sam Walton's everyday low prices wasn't just a slogan, it was the DNA of Walmart. While most CEOs thought of profit first and customers second, Sam flipped the script. His philosophy was simple. Cut your margins, sell more, and the profits will come. But behind that simplicity was a relentless obsession with efficiency. Sam trained his managers like generals. Every store was a battlefield, and the mission was clear. Win over customers by giving them value they couldn't find anywhere else. He obsessed over the supply chain. Walmart didn't just buy from suppliers, it partnered with them, squeezing out costs from every corner. Even trucking routes were studied like military strategies to save pennies on fuel, pennies that would be passed back to the customer. This wasn't just smart business, it was revolutionary. By giving shoppers consistently low prices, Walmart became a part of their lives. People planned their paychecks around Walmart trips. In small towns, it wasn't unusual for an entire community to shop there on Saturdays, turning the store into a social hub. But there was a deeper truth. The Walton philosophy wasn't just about money, it was about loyalty. Walmart wasn't building customers, it was building believers. And once people believed, they never left. From the start, Sam Walton understood something most founders ignore. Empires built on a single person rarely survive. So he wove his family into the fabric of Walmart. His wife, Helen, wasn't just a partner at home. She was a strategic mind who kept the family grounded. Their children learned the business not from corporate manuals, but from walking the store aisles, watching how customers behaved, how employees worked, and how their father listened more than he spoke. When Walmart went public in 1970, the Walton family didn't cash out and vanish. They held their shares like treasure, protecting their stake even as the company exploded in value. Sam wasn't just building a retail chain, he was building a generational fortress. By the time Sam passed in 1992, the family was already prepared to guard the empire. Rob, Jim, Alice, and John carried the torch, each with their own vision but united in purpose. Keep Walmart in Walton hands. They didn't just inherit wealth, they inherited a mission, to keep the company dominant for decades to come. It was here the Waltons shifted from being successful business owners to becoming one of the wealthiest dynasties in human history. By the 1980s, Walmart had already conquered much of America's heartland. But Sam Walton wasn't content. His vision wasn't just to have the most stores, it was to own retail itself. He drew up an aggressive expansion plan that read more like a military invasion map than a business strategy. The idea was simple: expand outward in concentric circles. Each new store was close enough to the last that they could share distribution networks. This cut costs and sped up deliveries, keeping prices low and competitors off balance. Walmart didn't chase prestige locations. It chased underserved markets. While others fought over prime real estate in New York or Los Angeles, Walmart moved into towns competitors ignored, locking in loyal customers before anyone noticed. By the late 80s, Walmart was opening a new store almost every other day. Distribution centers became the beating hearts of entire regions, feeding hundreds of stores with military precision. And the numbers were staggering. Revenue climbing into the billions, stock prices multiplying, and competitors scrambling to keep up. This wasn't just growth. This was domination by design. The Walton family's blueprint was so efficient, it became a case study in business schools, and a warning to any company that dared to underestimate them. By the early 1990s, Walmart had already planted its flag across America. The shelves were stocked, the registers were ringing, and the Walton family's fortune was growing faster than anyone could track. But Sam Walton, and later his successors, knew there was one frontier left to conquer: the world. The move into global markets wasn't just about selling products overseas. It was about exporting an entire business culture, the Walmart way. The first big leap came in 1991 when Walmart partnered with Mexico's largest retailer, Cifra. It was a calculated step, testing the waters without diving headfirst. The formula worked. By 1993, Walmart de Mexico was born, and suddenly a small-town American dream was standing tall in Latin America. From there, the global march began: Canada, the UK, China, Brazil, Germany, South Korea, and more. But success wasn't guaranteed. Some markets embraced Walmart instantly, drawn to its unbeatable prices and vast selection. Others resisted, holding tightly to their own retail traditions. In Germany, for example, cultural differences and fierce local competition meant Walmart struggled, eventually pulling out entirely. But the Walton family wasn't discouraged. They saw each failure as a lesson, each success as proof that Walmart's model could thrive on almost any soil. Au contraire, strategic acquisitions became their weapon of choice, buying established local chains and rebranding them under the Walmart name. The global expansion was more than a business move. It was a statement. The Walton family wasn't content with being America's retail kings. They wanted to be the merchants of the world. And while not every battle was won, each attempt sharpened their strategy, preparing them for the next opportunity. The map was changing. Walmart's blue and yellow logo wasn't just an American symbol anymore. It was becoming part of the global shopping experience. And behind every move, the Walton dynasty's grip on the world's retail crown tightened just a little more. Most people think the Walton fortune begins and ends with Walmart. They picture billions locked up in store revenues and company stock. But that's only the surface. Beneath the public empire lies a private financial web. One so intricate, it makes Walmart look like just the opening act. The Walton family understands one truth better than most billionaires: never rely on a single source of wealth. While Walmart feeds the fortune, the family's investments multiply it quietly in the shadows. Their biggest secret weapon? Walton Enterprises, a private holding company that manages the family's vast portfolio. Through it, they own huge stakes not only in Walmart, but in real estate, renewable energy, banking, and even luxury hospitality. Prime office buildings, sprawling ranches, and thousands of acres of farmland are quietly tucked into their portfolio. Their real estate holdings alone could rival those of some national governments. Then there's their push into renewable energy, investing in solar and wind farms across the U.S., not just as a nod to sustainability, but as a calculated bet on the future of global power markets. The Waltons also play in the world of high finance, with private equity investments that rarely make headlines but generate staggering returns. From tech startups to infrastructure projects, they place bets on industries set to shape the next century. And yet they remain understated about it. You won't see them plastering their names across every building they own. Their style is quiet control, letting the world focus on Walmart while their other ventures grow behind the curtain. For the Waltons, Walmart may be the crown jewel, but their hidden investments are the treasure chest that ensures the crown will never fall. When people hear richest family in America, they picture gold-plated mansions, fleets of exotic cars, and private islands. But the Walton heirs live in a way that surprises almost everyone. Sure, they enjoy luxury, but it's wrapped in a layer of quiet elegance, not flashy excess. Take Alice Walton, the only daughter of Sam Walton. She's worth tens of billions, yet she's known more for her art collection than her spending sprees. Her Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in Arkansas houses masterpieces by the likes of Norman Rockwell and Georgia O'Keeffe, open to the public, free of charge. Jim Walton, the youngest son, keeps a low profile. His passions lean toward banking and philanthropy. You're more likely to find him in a boardroom or at a charity event than on a yacht in the Mediterranean. Rob Walton, the eldest, has indulged a bit more in the finer things, with a taste for classic cars and adventure travel, but still far from the stereotype of a billionaire playboy. Their homes are large but not ostentatious, often tucked away in the quiet hills of Arkansas or ranch lands far from paparazzi lenses. They travel privately, of course, but without broadcasting every move on social media. Privacy, in the Walton world, is the ultimate luxury. Even their philanthropy reflects this understated style. They've poured billions into education reform, environmental causes, and local community projects, often without attaching their names to the donations. The Walton heirs understand something many wealthy families forget. Power is greater when it's quiet. While their fortune could buy anything, their lifestyle sends a different message. Control your wealth, don't let it control you. No empire, no matter how vast, is without shadows. For the Waltons, the glow of their $432 billion fortune has often been pierced by controversy. Walmart's rapid rise came with whispers, and later shouts, of unfair labor practices, low wages, and squeezing suppliers to the brink. Critics accused the company of valuing profits over people, painting the Walton family as out-of-touch billionaires, profiting from the struggles of everyday workers. Labor unions became some of Walmart's loudest opponents, staging strikes and protests demanding better pay and working conditions. Stories surfaced of employees relying on food stamps despite working full-time. The Waltons, usually silent in public, faced increasing pressure to respond. Beyond labor disputes, Walmart was criticized for driving small businesses out of towns. The arrival of a superstore often meant the death of local mom-and-pop shops that couldn't compete with Walmart's prices. Environmentalists, too, raised alarms about the company's massive carbon footprint and the environmental cost of its global supply chain. For years, the family let the company's executives handle the storm. But eventually, the Waltons began shifting their image, funding sustainability projects, increasing minimum wages, and pledging billions to charitable causes. Some saw it as genuine change. Others called it damage control. Whether seen as ruthless or visionary, one thing remains certain. Controversy never slowed Walmart's growth. If anything, it proved that the Waltons had built something too big, too entrenched, and too essential for anyone to bring down. The 21st century brought a new battlefield, the internet. As Amazon's dominance grew, many predicted Walmart's fall. After all, how could a chain of brick-and-mortar stores compete with the convenience of online shopping? But the Waltons didn't panic. They adapted. Walmart poured billions into e-commerce, launching a sleek online platform and offering in-store pickup for online orders, a hybrid strategy Amazon couldn't match. They acquired Jet.com to turbocharge their digital presence, then doubled down on grocery delivery, competing directly with Amazon Fresh. The Walton strategy was clear. Use their physical footprint as an advantage, not a weakness. Every store became a mini distribution hub, allowing Walmart to deliver faster than competitors in many areas. They expanded into digital services, cloud partnerships, and even experimented with drone delivery. Social media also became a weapon. Walmart transformed its brand from a discount store to a modern retail giant, using influencer marketing, live stream shopping, and app-exclusive deals. The Waltons weren't just keeping up, they were rewriting the rules. By the late 2000s and 10s, Walmart wasn't a dinosaur fighting extinction. It was a hybrid predator, part traditional retail, part digital powerhouse. And in the eyes of the Walton family, this evolution was more than survival. It was proof that the empire could thrive in any era, on any battlefield. $32 billion net worth breakdown. It's a number so massive it's hard to picture. To put it in perspective, the Walton family's combined wealth is larger than the GDP of countries like Norway, New Zealand, or Greece. But where exactly is all that money? The bulk of it lies in Walmart stock. The Waltons collectively own just under half of the company, and with Walmart valued in the hundreds of billions, their shares alone are worth an astronomical sum. That ownership not only keeps their fortune growing year after year, it ensures they remain in control. Then there are the private holdings. Walton Enterprises, the family's investment arm, controls billions in real estate, energy ventures, and financial assets. They own vast tracts of farmland, commercial properties in major cities, and even entire ranches spanning thousands of acres. Their renewable energy investments, solar farms, wind power projects, generate both profit and influence in an emerging trillion-dollar industry. On top of that, the family has stakes in banking, media, and tech startups. Each investment is a layer of armor, ensuring that if one industry stumbles, the rest of the empire stands strong. And yet much of their wealth isn't sitting in plain sight. Complex trusts, foundations, and private funds keep portions of the fortune shielded from taxes and public scrutiny. To the outside world, Walmart is the crown jewel. But to those who look closer, the Walton Empire is a web of wealth that touches nearly every corner of the economy. The Walton family is now 3 generations deep into wealth and influence, and the question hangs in the air: what happens next? Dynasties often crumble in the hands of heirs who never knew the struggle of building an empire. But the Waltons are playing a different game. They've groomed the next generation quietly, bringing them into philanthropy boards, business meetings, and investment ventures long before the public even knows their names. These heirs aren't being raised just to inherit wealth. They're being trained to protect it. The family's power isn't limited to retail. Through their investments, political donations, and philanthropic influence, the Waltons can shape markets, policy, and culture. Some praise them as visionaries who revolutionized shopping and gave millions access to affordable goods. Others see them as symbols of corporate excess, holding more wealth than entire populations combined.